अभी जस्ट चालू किया।
Good morning to all. Good afternoon. Last class we dealt with the three procedures of collision, right? Students' perspective, M1 greater than M2 and center of mass frame where M1 is less than M2, right? Is that correct? Mute, allow participants.
Yes, sir. You are muted. But
Okay. Right. Now, one example, one problem of oblique collision to be done from ground frame as well as center of mass frame. Right? Have a look at this. A mass of 2m moving with a velocity of u towards this direction and a mass of m at rest. Mass of m at rest. If they collide elastically but not head on, elastic collision but not head on collision. 2m ends up moving northwards. After the collision, 2m ends up moving northwards. So M will move in this particular direction. M will move in this particular direction. Right? What is the speed V? Find V. Find V. Velocity of 2m after collision. Velocity of 2m after collision. You people solve with respect to ground. I will solve with respect to center of mass. You people solve with respect to ground. I will solve with respect to center of mass.
So we cannot apply equal to 1 here, right?
What small e? You don't know the direction.
Yes,
Small
sir.
e equal to 1 you want to apply. You don't know the direction.
Sir, what is the question?
2m moving with the velocity u collides with small m, which is at rest. After the collision, 2m is moving in the perpendicular direction. Find that velocity. It is a perfectly elastic collision but not head-on. After collision, 2m is moving in the perpendicular direction to the initial direction. Find velocity of 2m. You will solve with respect to ground.
So done.
So just a minute.
1 second, wait. One small correction. Wait a minute. A mass 2m moves to the east, mass m. Sorry. Listen. This moves towards the west with the velocity of u. It is not at rest. Change the problem. You know why?
Maximum
They got the
deviation is
mistake.
30 degrees.
Sarvesh got the mistake. See, if this were at rest, last class we calculated what is sin theta maximum. Sin theta maximum is 1 by 2. Theta maximum will be 30 degrees. How are you giving 90 degrees? If I give you this at rest, then sin theta maximum is m1 by m2. Right? The maximum angle by which it can be deflected is only 30 degrees. How can you give 90 degrees? It was a mistake. Small m is moving to the left with a velocity of u. Now solve the problem.
So the V is the resultant velocity, right?
V is the velocity of 2m after collision. That V is what you have to calculate.
So answer in terms of u, right?
Yeah.
So is it root 1 minus u squared by 2?
No.
So 2 minutes.
Please don't shout answers.
Okay. Okay.
So done.
Okay. Okay.
So can you show?
Wait, don't shout the answer.
So we have to do by center of mass frame also.
I'll solve using center of mass, but you can attempt if you are done with ground frame.
So what is the answer?
U by root 3.
So the screen disappeared. So
Okay. Now listen. Firstly, I solve the problem with respect to ground. 2m into u minus m into u in the horizontal direction. In the horizontal direction, 2m into 0 plus m into vx. M into u is equal to m into vx. That implies vx is equal to u. The horizontal component of this is u. Second equation, if I want to use small e, I am helpless. Why? Because relative velocity of separation upon approach is along the common normal. I don't know the direction of the common normal here.
So what is Vx?
Vx is the velocity of this in the horizontal direction. Vx. I'll take this as Vy, which I'm not interested in calculating. I'll have to eliminate that. Half 2m into u square is the initial energy. Half m into u square is the initial energy. Half 2m into v square plus half m into vx square plus vy square. Initial kinetic energy of this, initial kinetic energy of this, final kinetic energy of this, final kinetic energy of this. Now listen, one more equation here I forgot. Conservation of linear momentum is applicable both along x-axis and y-axis. 0 is equal to 2m into v minus m into vy. 2m into v.
Vy is equal to 2v.
Right? So once I calculate this, I'll get Vy is equal to 2v. Fine? No. Vx is equal to u, you got by conserving momentum along x-axis. Vx I'll substitute as u. Vy I'll substitute as 2v. Here I conserve linear momentum in the vertical direction. Initial linear momentum is 0. 2m into v minus m into v. Vy is equal to 2v. Right? M and M will go. Half will go all throughout. 2u square plus u square. This is 2v square plus u square plus 4v square. You are asking me to calculate v in terms of u. This is 3u square minus u square is 2 plus 4, 6v square. This is 2u square is equal to u by 3 with the square root. U by root 3.
Sir, in the second last step, it should be 6v square, na?
6v square. 2v square is equal to 6v square. तभी तो आंसर आएगा. U by root 3. Can I rub the board? Now, firstly, it is an elastic collision. It's an oblique collision. First calculate the velocity of center of mass. 2m into u minus m into u upon 2m plus m. mu upon 3m. This is u by 3. VCM is u by 3. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass is u minus u by 3. This will be 2u by 3. Divide both. Velocity of center of mass, velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass is u by 3, 2u by 3, u and u will go. This is 1 by 2. That means VCM is less than. For me to draw the circle, I should have that information. This is velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass before collision. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass after collision. I'll call it B dash.
तो perpendicular नहीं होगा.
Relax. This is with respect to center of mass. Right? These both will be equal. Or if you have a confusion, do one thing, call this U. Initial velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Initial velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Initial velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Final velocity of 2m. Final velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass.
So they will be same because it is elastic.
Relax. Elastic collision. 1 second, wait. This is the initial velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Final velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Magnitude of both will be the same. Why? Because it is an elastic collision. Now, VCM I will draw this way. VCM. Why are you drawing VCM lesser than this here? You are getting VCM lesser than this. So VCM will be lesser. This will be the velocity with respect to ground. Velocity of 2m with respect to ground. This is velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass plus velocity of center of mass is velocity of 2m with respect to ground. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass plus velocity of center of mass with respect to ground is velocity of 2m with respect to ground. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass plus velocity of center of mass is velocity of 2m with respect to ground. Why did you take this to be lesser than this? That's what you got. But then he's telling you that this is perpendicular. He's telling you that this is perpendicular. Now redraw the diagram. This is velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. This is velocity of 2m with respect to ground. You are telling me that this will be this way. Then this should be this. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. This is initial velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. This is final velocity. This is the velocity with respect to ground. Your job is done. You are asking me how much is this? Right? You are asking me how much is this? This is VCM. Cos theta is VCM upon velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. VCM upon this length and this length will be the same.
So direct Pythagoras, why don't you do?
Anything can be done, not an issue. Right? Now have a look at it. Sin cos theta is this adjacent side by hypotenuse. Right? You know VCM divided by this is 1 by 2. Cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse. Adjacent side is VCM. Hypotenuse is velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass. Velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass after collision, before collision are the same. And this ratio you know is 1 by 2. So you know value of theta. Will I know the value of this particular vector? elastic collision, hence this length is equal to this length. Elastic collision, hence this length is equal to this length. In the question, he told you that this line is perpendicular to the initial direction. So turn this way, it comes this way. Now this is VCM, this is velocity of 2m with respect to center of mass, and you know cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse. You get the value of theta. From that sin theta, you will get the velocity of 2m with respect to ground. Verify if you are getting the answer or not.
Yes, sir. Same answer.
This value and this value will be the same. Hence, they are radii of the same circle. This is 2u by 3. This value and this value numerically are the same. Only directions will change. Speed of the particle in the center of mass frame of reference will be the same if it is a perfectly elastic collision. Can I rub the board? Now listen. There are two more subtopics which are very important. Now this lays the foundation for the remaining part of mechanics, including rotational dynamics. Right? We need to understand this logic carefully because the thumb rule will not be very perfect. It will be slightly abstract. But you need to get to know this. Only then you can apply few rules. We will differentiate between impulsive and non-impulsive forces. Impulsive and non-impulsive forces. First of all, how do you define an impulse?
Change in momentum.
Right. Any change in momentum is impulse. Change in momentum is impulse. May it be in a short time interval, may it be in large time interval. Any change in momentum is impulse. Right? Now, when there is a change in momentum, if, listen to this carefully, if in a finite, if in an infinitesimal time, if in an infinitesimal time, the force produces a finite impulse, then it is called impulsive force. if in a very short time interval it produces a finite impulse, it is called an impulsive force. The time interval should be very, very, very short. In that short time interval, if it can produce a finite impulse, it is an impulsive force. If
So what does finite impulse mean?
any finite quantity, definite finite quantity,
Okay.
right? If in an infinitesimal time interval, the force does not produce a finite impulse, then it is called non-impulsive force. Does not produce a finite impulse, that means negligible change in momentum. In an infinitesimal time interval, if the impulse produced is very, very, very small, if the impulse produced is infinitesimally small, the force does not produce a finite impulse or produces an infinitesimal change in momentum. It doesn't produce a change in momentum technically, or it produces very, 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 very small change in momentum. Then it is called non-impulsive force. Can you give me the difference between the two? I'll give you the difference between the two. Have a look at it. Take a solid body, anything. Take a solid body. Where is the paperweight here?
So
Listen, paperweight. This is a solid body. If this falls on my feet, the pain is unbearable. Yes or no?
yes.
100%.
But the same body, when kept on my feet, I can bear it easily. I keep this way. I have no problem with that. I drop it from this height. The pain is unbearable. Same thing you do with a rubber ball. You drop it or you keep it, you don't feel the pain. You get the difference?
It
When
absorbs.
this strikes your hand, it is impulsive. When this is kept on your hand, it is non-impulsive. When this strikes your hand, it is impulsive. When this is kept on your hand, it is non-impulsive. In a short time interval, it should produce appreciable change in momentum. In a short time interval, it should produce appreciable change in momentum. It will be impulsive. Give me a few examples for me to visualize this. Have a look at this. These examples will give you a proper understanding. Listen. The wedge is kept on the ground, right? The wedge is kept on the ground. There is a normal force here. One small m is moving with a velocity of u, and it's
What happened, sir?
some noise from outside. ऊपर कुछ drilling कर रहे हैं यार. No, listen. Small m is moving with a velocity of u. It collides with capital M. This normal force before the collision and after the collision is non-impulsive. This is non-impulsive. Then what is impulsive in this particular case? This normal force is impulsive. This normal force is impulsive. This is impulsive. This is impulsive. This normal force is impulsive, but this normal force is non-impulsive. Now you will understand the difference. Please concentrate. Suppose on the contrary, if there is a ball striking like this, if there is a ball striking like this, now what will happen? If it strikes like this normal force is impulsive, no doubt. This is impulsive. This is also impulsive. Right? Now this force also becomes impulsive. N0 also becomes impulsive. Why will N0 become impulsive?
There's a
This
component.
normal force has a vertical component. So this normal force, vertical component will act in the downward direction. So this N0 also will become impulsive. This is impulsive, no doubt. This is impulsive, no doubt. In the previous case, this normal force was non-impulsive. Here the normal force became impulsive. Why? In a short time interval, there will be an appreciable change in momentum. So when this small m strikes the wedge, sometimes the wedge will lift up. If small m is striking this, sometimes the wedge will lift up. It will bounce upwards. You may feel small m is striking this way, no yaar. Why should the wedge bounce upwards? You will have to watch the movie Singham for that. Did you see the movie Singham?
Sir, but that defies the laws of physics.
South Indian Singham
That
or
defies
Bollywood Singham?
because the person is not a rigid body. If you take a rigid body and you strike, this normal force will lift this body quite a few times. Strike, you will see this lifting in the upward direction. It is because of this N0 which is impulsive. In a short time interval, it can produce appreciable change in momentum. Take it down till here. I will give you a few more examples.
Oh, so there was some problem with my connection. Can you please explain the second?
अरे नहीं यार नहीं आप मजाक कर रहे हो यार.
Sir, second wedge.
I'll send you the link of this. ये कितना लंबा explanation है. बैंड पे चलेगा मैं वीडियो लिंक भेजूंगा.
Sir, why is the N0 in the upward direction impulsive?
क्या करते हो यार? Every time आपके लिंक में ही दिक्कत होता है यार.
No, sir. So
N0 is impulsive here because this mass is striking this in this direction. So this normal force is impulsive. Its vertical component is impulsive. So this N0 also will be impulsive.
okay, sir.
Here there is no force in the vertical direction.
Sir, I got that.
So basically the action of all impulsive forces is impulsive.
Yeah, an impulsive force can be balanced by only another impulsive force.
Done, sir.
Sir, 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, done.
Sir, what is impulsive tension?
I'll come to that. I need to put that on the board. Can I rub the board?
Sir, bottom half can you tell B?
Pardon?
Sir, diagram को आप रहने दोगे?
Okay, I'll wait.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh?
So in a way, can we associate impulsive forces with movement? Like the body will move in that direction right away?
Partly yes. Because change in momentum will be in that direction. No. Shall I always tell you normal force is impulsive? No. It depends on the circumstance of the problem. I showed to you. Normal force between the wedge and the ground in this example is non-impulsive. In that example is impulsive. It depends on the circumstance of the problem. For instance, please have a look at this. This is bob M and there is tension in the string. Right now the tension is non-impulsive. If there is another body moving with a velocity of u, the collision between the two, this is N and this is N. Both these forces are impulsive. Impulsive. The tension is non-impulsive. The tension is non-impulsive. Right? These both normal forces are impulsive. The tension is non-impulsive. Because the tension did not appreciably change in any one instance. But if small m was striking this way, how is the small m striking? This way. It will have a vertical component. So now look at the circumstance here. I will redraw the diagram for your convenience. Small m is striking this way.
Bob will have velocity in y also, na?
Listen, this is n, this is n. Both are impulsive. Now T is also impulsive. T is also impulsive. Why? Because it should balance this vertical component of impulsive force. Impulsive force, this is n perpendicular, this is n parallel. So this normal force is an impulsive. So the vertical component of the normal force is impulsive. Only an impulsive force can balance this impulsive force. So necessarily need not be that the bob moves up. That will depend on the problem. But this is an impulsive force. You can visualize this. Suddenly there will be a jerk in this particular string. A sudden jerk, sudden rise in the value of the tension. Why? Because it is an impulsive force. Same tension in this particular situation was non-impulsive. But here it is impulsive. Right? Two forces which generally cannot be impulsive is a spring and gravity. Spring force and gravitational force. Gravity in a very short time interval doesn't produce appreciable change in the momentum. Right? In mechanics, generally, but remember I'm using the word generally. Spring, sudden change in momentum doesn't happen. Gravity, sudden change in momentum doesn't happen. But tension, normal force, these forces are impulsive forces depending on the circumstance of the problem. Same situation, if there is a body striking from underneath, right? Now in this circumstance, this is N, this is N, both are impulsive. Tension is non-impulsive. Right? Tension don't need to balance the vertical component of the normal force. No. Here, tension had to balance. So it becomes impulsive. Here, tension don't need to balance any vertical component of the impulsive force. This is impulsive. This is impulsive. This is impulsive. This is impulsive. Tension is non-impulsive. Take it down till here.
Sir, can you repeat the second case? Why is tension non-impulsive when the body strikes it from below?
It is not balancing any normal force here. In that case, tension should balance the impulsive normal force. Here you don't need to balance any impulsive normal force.
Understood, sir.
Sir,
Hello?
if even if the body striking directly underneath that body, even then
Tension will
tension
be
will
non-impulsive. Normal force is impulsive, but tension will be non-impulsive. Listen, I am pulling from both sides. There is a lot of tension in it. I am applying a lot of force. But this tension is non-impulsive. All of you listen. The tension is non-impulsive. Same tension, when I do this, it is impulsive. Do you get the difference? I am applying a force on both sides. Right? I am applying a force on both sides. Non-impulsive. Impulsive.
Sir,
Applying force on both sides. Tension is non-impulsive. Impulsive. Do you get the difference?
sir, if you just like keep it as a ball like that, and if you just leave it from the top vertically, if you just take the medal on the top and then you leave it, so will that be impulsive?
Till
Yes,
it
sir.
comes till here non-impulsive. Till it comes till here non-impulsive. The moment it gives a jerk, it is impulsive. See, this is impulsive. That's why the bob will rise up. Impulsive. Right?
Yes.
There is a sudden change in the momentum. The bob was heavy. It came with a velocity v and it came to rest. So in that short time interval, change in momentum of the bob is large.
Sir, impulsive friction is there.
Yes. Friction generated by impulsive normal force is also impulsive. Friction generated by impulsive normal force is also impulsive. I'll dictate that point. Wait a minute. Finish this. I'll dictate that.
Sir, in bungee jumping also it is because of the impulsive forces that the person comes up.
Partly because of impulsive and partly because of elastic nature of that rope. Note.
Sir, what?
Some drilling job is happening on the upper floors. Note.
Sir, what to note?
अरे नोट लिखो डिक्टेट करूंगा. Friction generated by an impulsive normal force. Friction generated by an impulsive normal force is also impulsive. Friction generated by an impulsive normal force is also impulsive. Can I rub the board? No. Can you give me one example where friction is impulsive? Have a look. Did you people ever observe a basketball, when you spin it this way and drop it, it will come back to you. You're dropping it there. It should technically go ahead. It will come back to you if you spin the ball. That happens even with a cricket ball. Spin it and drop it, it will come back. Did you observe this?
Yes, sir.
Now, have a look. You are dropping the ball with an angular velocity this way. Right? Now, when you are dropping it, this normal force is impulsive. This normal force is impulsive. When you drop a body on the ground, short time interval, it will change the momentum by a very large value. It's striking with a velocity of u. It's rising up with a velocity of v. Momentum's direction change. mv minus of minus mu. Change in momentum is mv minus of minus mu. So in a short time interval, the normal force could change the momentum by a very large value. Hence, this normal force is impulsive. Now, what did you do? You spin the ball this way. You spin it, it falls and it comes back to you. It comes this way. Why? Observe this. This point is slipping in the forward direction. R omega. Friction will act in the backward direction. In that short time interval, friction is capable of pushing the body back in the backward direction. It can produce appreciable change in momentum. It can produce appreciable change in momentum. And hence friction is a byproduct of this impulsive force. Hence friction is equal to mu n. Friction is also impulsive. And
Sir,
because it is impulsive, it can make the body move in the backward direction. This point is slipping in the forward direction. So friction will be in backward direction. And is the value of friction sufficiently large to produce a change in momentum? Yes. Why? Because N is an impulsive force. Mu N is also impulsive.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Sir, can you just repeat this one more time?
You'll have to tell me your doubt.
Sir, I understood that friction will what's the question, like what's happening?
Friction is impulsive because it is a byproduct of mu n. N is impulsive.
Yes.
So this point P, R omega is in the forward direction. So friction will be in backward direction.
But sir, R omega won't cancel out friction.
R omega is velocity. Velocity, force and velocity cancel out ho jayenge. Force will cancel out force only. This point is slipping in the forward direction. So friction will act in which direction?
Backward.
Backward direction. Because it is impulsive, it will make the body go back here. It will produce appreciable change in this direction. You are spinning it and dropping it here. The body will come back.
Understood,
Right?
sir.
You are producing momentum in the backward direction. Who is producing momentum? Friction. How is friction able to do it? Because it is impulsive in nature. Why is it impulsive? Because N is impulsive in nature. Right?
Yes, sir.
माझ्या कॉम्प्युटर ब्लूटूथ असतं काय लवकर कर ना जरा ते कृष्णाला
Now listen. Firstly, if there is a body M1 and a body M2, this is kept on a horizontal table. You are having the top view. Horizontal table. Horizontal smooth table. This is given a velocity of u. The string was initially not taut. String was initially not taut. Right? So this is the top view of the horizontal table. Top view of the horizontal table. This is given a velocity of u. On M1, there is no force. This is M2. When it came till here, when the string became taut, T-A-U-T, when the string became taut, there will be an impulse T delta T and T delta. Anyway, what is the force? Delta P by delta T. How much will be the impulse? F into delta T is delta P. F into delta T is delta P. Delta P will be called impulse. Quite a few times we will show it with the symbol J. F delta T is equal to J. Right? So there is an impulse T delta T. Direction of impulse kaisa loge yaar? Whatever is the direction of T, that's the direction of impulse. Now, initially this had a velocity of U. This will be U sin theta. This will be U cos theta. This is theta. This is theta. Initially you projected this with a velocity of U. There is no force on it till the string becomes taut. There is no force on it till the string becomes taut. The moment it becomes taut, there is an impulsive force called T delta T.
So will T delta T be there if the table is smooth? So why will T delta T be there?
The body is given a velocity this way. String was not taut initially. Now the string became taut, tight. So all of a sudden tension came into the picture.
Okay, sir.
And why is it impulsive? Because appreciably it changes the momentum. How? Initial velocity U was U sin theta and U cos theta. Just after the string became taut, the velocity will be V. Then the velocity of this also will be V along the length of the string. Along the length of the string, both masses will go with the same velocity. Right? So here I will write T delta T is M1 into V minus 0. Final momentum minus initial moment. Here I will write minus T delta T is equal to M2 into V minus M2 into U cos theta. See if you people are convinced. M2 into V is final momentum. M2 into U cos theta is initial momentum along the length of the string. T delta T is equal to the change in momentum. Why did you put a negative sign here? M2 into V is in this direction. M2 into U cos theta is in this direction. M1 into V minus 0 is T delta T here. Both the equations, are they clear?
Yes, sir.
If I add both the equations, 0 is equal to M1V plus M2V minus of M2 U cos theta. Bring this to the left. M2 U cos theta is equal to M1 plus M2 into V, which I am damn sure of. Why are you so sure of this? If I take M1 and M2 as one system, tension will become an internal force. Initial momentum, final momentum along the length of the string should be equal.
Yes, sir.
U sin theta will remain with the body as it is because this impulsive force is perpendicular to U sin theta. U sin theta will not change. Is the point clear? You understood how we use the impulsive force? Minus T delta T is M2 into V minus M2 into U cos theta. Final momentum minus initial moment. Take it down till here. I will solve one small problem on this.
Can you please tell us again why you've taken minus T delta T for the second equation?
Direction. Final momentum direction is this way. Initial momentum direction is this way. T delta T is in the opposite direction.
So after this, can you also give another example on impulsive friction?
100% impulsive friction I'll come to. There's time for it. First, let us deal with tensions. Then we'll deal with normal forces. Then we'll come to frictions. Impulsive frictions applications maximum are in next chapter.
Sir, can you explain what happens to M2 once the string is taut again?
Once the string is taut, M2's this velocity will remain taut again.
Once it's taut again, first time only.
U sin theta will remain with that. U cos theta will convert into V. So M2 will have a new velocity V and U sin theta.
So U cos theta and V will be equal, no? If I'm not wrong.
U cos theta will convert into V.
Acha, oh.
Final minus initial.
Oh, okay, fine.
Sir, in spring, impulsive tension can happen.
Spring, S-P-R-I-N-G.
Yes,
Spring will not have impulsive tension. The definition of spring is it can absorb a shock.
Okay.
So in which cases gravitational force can act as impulsive? You told generally, so.
First, let me give you examples where gravity is non-impulsive. Uske baad we will think of it. There's time for that. Step by step we go. First, we are dealing with tensions.
So is it possible for the direction of V to be not along the string?
You are asking me, is it possible that force and acceleration are not along the same line? F is equal to m into dv by dt, right? So change in momentum will be along this. F into delta t will be delta p. This and this will be along the same line here.
Yeah, so but the final velocity, maybe it could be a little towards it, but not completely in line, you know.
That will be because of the initial velocity u sin theta. But impulsive f delta t will be along the same line. Both will be along the same line. T delta t, this change in momentum will be along the same line. जिस डायरेक्शन में impulsive force is acting, change in momentum will be along the same line.
Sir, here it is not a spring. Then what is it?
This is a string, S-T-R-I-N-G. String. This is not a spring. You kept it in such a way such that it is not taut.
Okay, sir.
So there were leftover HCV doubts, right?
Pardon?
So there were leftover HCV doubts, I think.
अच्छा, ये chapter में conservation of momentum.
Objectives.
Yes.
What's the time?
And I think exercise may after.
The exercise last few questions were remaining.
Yes, sir.
We should complete
the last 5 questions.
We should keep it pending. Let me see. If today we can solve at least a few.
Sir, can you do that next class?
Okay, let's see. First, let's not leave this topic in between. Have a look. This is a bob. This is of length L. If I take the bob to the right and release it, when it comes back, what will its velocity be? Under root 2gl. All of you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Now we do something funny. We will take the bob to the right and bring it a bit close.
Impulse.
This distance is L root 3 by 2. You release the bob from here. You release the bob from here. Right? You brought it a bit close. This distance is L root 3 by 2. Find this velocity. Find velocity at the lowermost point. Find velocity at the lowermost point.
सर वो 2GL ही होगा ना?
Will not be. Think carefully and solve.
Sir,
So could you repeat the question?
The bob is brought closer by a distance such that this distance is held √3/2 and released from here. When it comes to the lowermost point, what is the velocity of the bob?
Sir, how to do?
Sir, can you give hint?
I'm giving you the hint on the board. Please observe this carefully.
Sir, please wait.
सर इतना तो मिला था.
क्या?
I had got till here.
Sir, please don't give the hint.
Then you got the main part of it. You will be able to solve. Shall I?
So 5 minutes.
No, sir.
No, sir, wait.
Bhavya, Ekansh, I think your answers are right, though I'm not 100% sure of it. Nahi yaar. Square root of 7 you'll get no. Bhavya, Ekansh, no. The velocity will be lesser than under root 2gl.
Sir, root 6, 3gl.
Wait, let us see. I don't remember the answer.
So 30 seconds.
How much is hell? Okay, I'll wait for 1 more minute. Do it.
Sir, here gravity.
Have a
Sir,
look.
यहाँ पे gravity count करना है.
Listen. As it falls by this height, till it comes till here, the string is not taut. Right? Cos theta is equal